And today I want to talk about presenting, right? How to properly present the business when it comes to Revolt and JIFU. How we're gonna go through all of the slideshow presentation, talk about every single one. But before we do that, I made a slideshow for you guys that I want to play here. Let me share my screen. That's gonna give you a better idea of how to actually present before you present the information, right? How to prepare before talking to your newest prospect or talking to somebody who's interested in what you're doing, right? Let me just pull this up here. There we go. Right. So the art of presenting Revolt and JIFU. First thing I want to talk about is form. Right? You want to form your prospects before you even do any kind of presentation. All right? What does form mean? For those of you guys that are new here, form means basically you're breaking down and learning about who an individual is, right? You're asking them questions that basically are going to let them open up to you and tell you about their life story, right? So the F in form stands for family, the O stands for occupation, the R for recreation, the M for motivation slash message, right? We can do a whole nother training on form, which we're not going to go through today, but basically you want to figure out who your prospects are and do a deep dive or a deep dive into what they want out of life before you go into your presentation, right? Because if you don't understand, right, let's see who has their camera on, who I can see. If you don't understand who you're talking to, right? I can see Beeman, I can see Quentin, Blake is here as well. If you don't understand, right, what Blake wants or what Quentin wants out of this business, how do you know how to present the business to him? Right? You haven't figured out if that person wants to learn how to trade, if they just want to get a discount on travel, if they want to learn social media, right? If they want to learn how to invest into crypto. The most important thing before presenting the opportunity to somebody is figuring out what do they want out of life, right? How can I present them Revolt and JIFU in a way where it's going to make sense to them, right? Let's say you have somebody who wants to learn how to invest into crypto. You're not going to tell them about social media and how they can get paid to promote on social media and build a business. Like that's not what the business is or what they want out of the business, right? They want to learn how to invest into crypto. They want to learn how to grow their portfolio. What is Bitcoin, right? You have to figure out what do these people want and relate the business to them, right? So let me just get this screen shared again and go back here. And then from there, you want to figure, or people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. This is the most important thing when it comes to talking to people is people don't care about how much you know. You could know everything about crypto and everything about NFTs and the digital space for currencies and all these different things. That doesn't matter to that individual that you're presenting to or sharing the information with. For them, what they care about is, do you care about them, right? You want to get to know that individual and build a relationship with every single person that you're introducing to this business, right? This isn't just a business where you present the information a million times and hope a million people sign up. You're looking to build relationships with people that are long lasting relationships, right? The reason why Donnie and I have been working together for the last 3 years, and Tommy and Donnie have been working together for the last 7 years, right? Is because they built a relationship, right? It wasn't just you're in my business and you make me money. They travel together. We go, like the boys were my best man and groomsmen at my wedding. Like it's a family that you build, and I didn't know these guys 3 years ago, but now you have a relationship with these people, right? With Blake, I've met Blake maybe once, right? It was once, and I can say that Blake is one of my brothers because of how we got to know each other. And Blake's not even a part of my team, right? And he's still such a close friend because I'm building a relationship with people who are in this business, right? That's what you want to do. Is you don't just want to go and share what Revolt and JIFU is a million times with people and not actually get to know the person and what they want out of it and who they are, right? Build a relationship with people and then figure out their why, right? Why stands for what hurts you or what heightens you, right? It means what are they seeking out of life? Is it financial freedom? Is it more family time? Is it career growth, right? Do they want to travel more? What do they want out of life, right? Everybody wants something, right? Whether that is financial freedom, you want to make $1 million, you want to make 6 figures a month, you want to make $10,000 a month, right? We all have a financial goal, right? But some people, they already have financial freedom, right? But they work too much, they have a work overload, or they don't have that family time that they want, right? You have to figure out how or what are people seeking in their life and tailor the business to them in that specific way, right? Identify their pain points and struggles. What problems do they have that Revolt and JIFU can solve, right? What problem is it? Is it financial problems? Is it time that they don't have enough time to spend time with family or go on trips and do all these things? Or is it their career and their growth, right? Are they stuck at a certain rank in another company? Are they stuck at a certain income, right? Are they looking to expand their income? Like, figure out what are people's needs and then tailor the business to them, right? Once you understand your prospect, then you can tailor the presentation to them. The next thing is telling your story, right? Facts tell, stories sell. People are not going to remember how many times you shared the business with them, right? They're going to remember that one story that you told that they related to, right? And they're like, maybe they were also at one point homeless or didn't have money, or um, they worked at the same similar job that you worked, right? Your story is something that you want people to relate to, right? And not just telling facts about the business and that all the trade ideas and making money and all these different things. So you want to tell stories when you present your information, right? When you present the business, people don't just buy into the product, they buy into you, right? Yes, do we have amazing products with Revolt and JIFU? 100%, right? We're all making money with trade ideas, right? The education is the best of the best in the world when it comes to digital entrepreneurship, right? But people buy into you, right? You're the one presenting the business to them. They're going to buy into what you have to say and what your vision is and what you're doing, not just into the product, right? Your story is unique to you. Don't leave anything on the table. Be authentic and be you, right? You don't want to make up or steal somebody else's story that you heard on a stage or on a Zoom call or whatever it might be. You want to tell people your story, right? We're going to get into how to properly craft your story or tell your story to people, but you want to be authentic. You want to be you. You want to be real. You don't want to lie about your story, right? You want to just be upfront and leave everything on the table. And your story, through you being authentic and being yourself, should be automatic when you talk to people, right? This is when, let's say I'm talking to somebody at a grocery store, I'm talking to somebody at a gas station, and you're telling them about what you do, right? You need to have your story like this. What is it that you do? Can you explain your story in 60 seconds or less, right? Or you sit there and they're like, what do you do? And you're like, I trade Forex. That's not your story, right? Your story should be something that you could explain to people in 60 seconds or less about what it is that you do, where you came from before, right? Where you are now, the results you've seen, and your vision, right? It should be automatic when you talk to people. And your story, it builds rapport, right? If people can relate to you, right, it makes people want to learn more about what this business is because it's done something for you, right? It puts people's guards down because they can see that you've progressed from one point to the next, right? And it basically it shows people that you don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to be great, right? If you never started, if you never took the opportunity seriously, if you never plugged in, right, as we talked about on Sunday's call, you wouldn't be here with the results that you have, right? The results that you have right now, you can tell your story about what you've already been able to accomplish, right? It helps people understand and get a picture, a vision of what you've been able to do with, let's say, no prior experience before. Or maybe you tried it before and you got scammed, right? And didn't want to take that risk, but you did, and now you're making $2,000 a month trading, right? Your story builds rapport, it makes people want to learn more, and it puts people's guards down. And then all business is conversation. You want to start as many conversations and tell your story as many times as possible. Right? If you want to build this business and build this business big, you have to tell your story as many times as humanly possible, right? To as many people as possible. You don't just want to tell your story to the same to the same person every single day. They already know your story, right? You want to tell it to as many people and as many times as possible and get people bought into you and then into the product. Right? Because if people are bought into you and they understand what this business has done for you, do you think you'd be more likely to sell them the product and get them into your business after they understand what this business has done for you? Drop a one in the chat if you think that somebody's more willing to buy a product after they've bought into you. Drop a one in the chat. Exactly. Right? If people understand what it's done for you, they can now see that, hey, this is where he was before. He's been able to get here. Maybe this could work for me as well. Right? Why don't I give it a shot? That's what happened with me. Right? When I got started in this industry, I saw the people were making money. Right? I saw the chains, I saw the cars, I saw the lifestyle. And I knew that was possible. I just went down a wrong path than I did before, but I bought into the people, right? I bought into the stories of where people were and where they were now, right? Now, how to craft your story. This is very important. So if you definitely want to take notes on this as well, so you know and understand how to tell people your story, right? You always want to start with your beginning, right? Talk about your life before joining Revolt and JIFU. What did you do before? Right? Were you a dishwasher at a restaurant, or did you work in construction? Right? Did you work in sales? Excuse me. What is it that you were doing before joining Revolt? Right? Were you doing nothing? You were just looking for an opportunity to make money. Were you already in the space, but you didn't understand how to get the results that you wanted to see? Right? Be honest about the struggles you face in early stages as well. Right? Talk about the beginning of when you were already in the company inside of Revolt and JIFU. Talk about the struggles and the things that didn't go so well in the beginning for you. Right? Like for me, for example, in the first 3 months, I made $1,000 while I was at work, and that $1,000, it was $1,000 US. That $1,000 in that one day while I was at work made me more money in that one day than I would make at 8 hours every single day working at that job for a whole month. Right? But then after that, I lost like $2,500 on my account because I wasn't using proper risk management. I wasn't properly taking care and protecting the capital that was in my account, right? That was a struggle that I faced early on. But how did I overcome that? I went back to the drawing board. I went back to the basics. I understood what I needed to do every single day. I understood what risk management was, right? And then I was able to make consistent profits in the market. You can talk about the struggles that you face, right? And being vulnerable creates authenticity and relatability to you, right? You want people to be able to relate to you, right? You don't just want to share that, I got started in Revolt and then my first day I made $1 million. It's like, no, you didn't, right? I haven't seen one person do that, right? Unless you have $1 billion that you can just put into a live account, that's maybe possible, right? But that's nobody here, right? You have to be relatable, and people are not gonna. People, if people see on social media or, um, if you're telling them about something that doesn't seem relatable to you, their guard is gonna go back up, right? They're gonna be like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how does this person just make $1 million in a month doing this, right? When he's been doing this for 3 months, it doesn't make sense. You want to be authentic and relatable, right? Talk about the profits that you made 100%, but also be realistic. If you haven't made that much money, then don't talk about making that much money, right? Be real. Don't lie about your story. And then your journey, you want to highlight specific gains that you've had since joining, whether that's financial gains or personal growth, right? For those of you that are on here that maybe haven't seen any profitable trades yet, maybe you're brand new, right? Maybe you're in it for a couple of weeks and you haven't started a live account yet. That's all good. But what have you learned on your journey in the last 2, 3 weeks? What have you learned in the last year, in the last 3 years? That's been able to help you get into the direction that you want to go, right? Get you closer towards your goals, get you closer towards your financial goals or um, personal growth goals, right? What has Revolt and JIFU done for you since you got started, right? Talk about your journey. And then your vision. You want to paint a vivid picture of where it is that you're going and how you plan to bring others with you, right? Make your audience excited to take this journey with you. You want people to get excited to be doing this with you, right? You want to give them a picture of where it is that you're going and that you can help them get there too, right? If people can see and understand that they can do exactly what it is that you did, they're more likely to be able to join you, right? They need to be able to see your vision. Everybody has a different vision, a different path, but people can still see your vision, right? And understand where it is you're going if you show them a direction and a path to get there, right? So this is how you craft your story, right? It's your beginning, your journey, your vision. This is really the 3 points that you want to touch about and really just be yourself. Being yourself. If you're funny, be funny. If you're a red and you love money and you're excited about this business, be exciting, right? Show that side of yourself. You don't have to sit there on the call and be like, or in the meeting and just sit there and just be monotone, like, yeah, I love Revolt and JIFU. I learn how to make money there. You want to be exciting. You want to have people be able to relate to you. You want to be yourself because people buy into you, right? Drop a 1 in the chat if you would want to sign up in my business, right? Or join me and learn from me if I sat there and told you about Revolt and JIFU like this the whole time. Like, Revolt is the best company ever. JIFU has the best trade ideas. Like, probably not, right? Most definitely not. So you want to be yourself when you present and share your story as well, right? So let's talk about the different kinds of presenting, right? Now that we understand what we need to do before we present, now we can talk about the different types of presenting, right? When it comes to your prospects, when it comes to the people that you want to show the business to, all you're going to do for the first little bit until you understand how to close people and properly present, what you want to do is tell your story, then edify a third party, right? Even if you understand how to close people and share the business, you still want to use a third party like a mentor, an upline, a team member, somebody else that's not you, because the people who are closest to you, right, like your friends, your family, they don't see you for where you're going. They see you for where you are currently at. So they're the least likely to get started with you, right, if it's just you presenting the information to them. So you want to introduce them to a third party, and a third party can be your mentor, right? Your upline, another team member, somebody else that's inside of the community, a video that breaks down what Revolt and JIFU is, an event, whether that's an event that's held in your local city, whether that's Portugal that's coming up in April, right? Whether that's, I know we had a few people fly out to Miami as well last minute when we were there earlier this year, right? A Zoom call, an op call, which is on Mondays every week inside of our community, a story, talk about somebody else's story that they can relate to, right? If you don't have anything to relate to with your prospect, you can use somebody else or share somebody else's story, not use somebody else's story, but share somebody else's story, right? If I have a girl that I want to introduce into the business, and she does lashes, she works at Aritzia and does all these things, I'm going to share Olivia's story because that's what Olivia did, right? Olivia was the manager at Aritzia and she has still her own lash business, right? You want to share the story of people who that person can relate to, right? And you can introduce them to a product, whether that's uh, an energy drink, a coffee, some collagen, the glow, right? We have physical products. You can show them the digital products as well, right? Show them the scanner, show them the apps that we have, show them the website, whether that's Revolt or JIFU, right? Send them a podcast. You know, we have direct access, right? You can send them Alex Morton's podcast and say, this is an individual who I'm working with, right? And then that's for your prospects only. And then for other prospects, this is like people in your team that are bringing prospects to you that they want to sign up, right? You are now the third party. You can still share videos, Zoom calls, stories, products, websites, all this stuff, but you are now the mentor, the upline, or the team member who's going to be sharing that information with the other prospects from your team, right? So now it comes down to, do you understand how to present the information, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But you want to share your story, right, and present the information. And you also want to adapt your presentation style to match the format. Virtual presentations require more energy and clearer visuals because the people are not in the same room with you. They need to feel your energy and be able to see clear visuals through the screen, right? When you're in person and you're on a one-on-one meeting or you're doing a hotel event, people can feel the energy in the room, right? But on the Zoom call, you can't feel the energy if I'm just talking to you like this and telling you about that you have to tell your story and then edify a third party, a mentor, upline, right? You can't feel my energy. You have to have more energy on a Zoom call and clear visuals so people understand what it is that you're talking about, right? And then while in-person meetings benefit from physical materials and demonstration, master both to maximize effectiveness, right? You need to be able to do both. Whether that's going to a coffee shop to sit down with one of your friends or somebody who you met that's interested about the business, whether that's a hotel event and you want to present the information in front of a room of 100 people, right? Whether that's a Zoom call, like the Monday night calls that we do, you have to be able to do both, right? You don't have to be able to do both right away, but you have to learn and master both as you grow in this business. And that's all I have for the slides. But what I want to do with you as well is, if you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the chat now. And then we're going to go over how to present each slide inside of the slideshow that we have, the presentation from Revolt and JIFU. And then I'm going to show you guys exactly what I would say for every single slide. All right, so drop in the chat if you guys have any questions on anything while I pull this up here. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. If we do have a question, I'll get to it at the end then. But let me just share my screen again here and show you guys and explain to you how to present each slide that we have in the slideshow. So the first one, right, is the Revolt. Welcome to the revolution. This is where I would talk about what Revolt is, right? What is Revolt? When somebody asks you what is Revolt, what are you going to say to them, right? It's the same thing when you're on the Zoom call. You want to explain what Revolt is, right? It's a mastermind group of individuals, of entrepreneurs, people who are revolting against the odds. That's what the word Revolt stands for, right? A family, a group of community, a group of people in a community that help each other grow, not just financially, but physically, mentally, spiritually, in all aspects of life. People who I've, met, connected with, and now have a long-lasting relationship with. It's a movement of people just striving to be better, doing something different to get a different result, right? That's what Revolt is. It's the community. People buy into the community of Revolt, right? Revolt is not trading, investing, and social media and all. It is all that stuff, right? But it's the community of people that you want to talk about in the slide, right? You don't want to sit here for 10 minutes and talk about this either. You can do a quick 1-2 like I just did about it, right? Then we come to the 4-way cash flow quadrant. And this one is important because this lets people understand and see the difference and the imbalance of the money that's in the world, right? From the rich to the poor. And how you want to explain the slide is basically get people to understand that there's 95% of people who are making 5% of the world's wealth. So all of the money that's in the world, 95% of people only make 5% of it. That means 5% of people make 95% of the entire world's wealth, right? And how you want to explain this is there's 60% of people who work for somebody, right? This means they have a 9-to-5 job. They have to show up in order to get paid, right? They have to exchange their time in order to get money, right? If they don't show up to their job every single day, they're not going to get paid, right? You're not going to get a paycheck if you don't show up to your job. And then 35% of people who work for themselves, they now are making maybe a little bit more money because they have their own business, whether that's a lash tech, you're a barber, you have your own construction business, right? But you still have to show up in order to get paid, because if you do not show up, you're not going to get paid, right? If you don't show up to cut somebody's hair as a barber, you're not going to get paid, right? And this is what you want people to understand, is that the 95% of people in the world that only make 5% of the world's wealth, if they don't show up in order to get paid, or if they don't get to show up to their job, they will not get paid, right? That means they have to exchange their time for money. Then the 5%, on the other hand, is 4% business owner, 1% investors. And these are people who exchange their money to make more money. They don't have to actively show up and work 8 hours in a day at Amazon, at McDonald's, at Nike to get paid. They own these companies. They invest into these stocks, right, to make more money. You want to be able to show people and tell people what that wealth imbalance is. Because for business owners and investors, for example, you can say and talk about Jeff Bezos. Do you think Jeff Bezos goes to every single Amazon factory and makes sure that all the boxes are packaged? No. He has people in place that he's hired to hire other people that do the work for him, right? He doesn't show up to make sure all the boxes are taped and shipped off properly, but he is the one who is the billionaire, right? He is the richest man in the world. Maybe Elon Musk, but that's for another topic. But that's how you want to explain this slide, right? Is get people to see the wealth imbalance there. Then you want to talk about JIFU and what the ultimate lifestyle membership is, right? With Revolt, we made a strategic partnership with JIFU, which is like the Harvard or the Yale University of the digital entrepreneurship space, right? It's the best of the best education that you can get out there. And think of JIFU like the Mercedes factory, right? The main Mercedes in Germany. And then think of Revolt as like the Mercedes dealership here in Canada, right? It's still the real deal, but it's not the bigger picture what JIFU is, right? It's where we get access to all the products, the services, the education, and all of the things that we do on a daily basis. All right, you want to explain that to people in that way. And this slide here, this is just welcome to JIFU. It shows people where we have different product warehouses, where we're able to ship products, right? Product shipping coming soon in different areas, where the JIFU Global HQ is, the corporate office. This just shows people that JIFU is a global platform on every single continent on this planet, right? It's crazy to see when you have a visual like this, how many places JIFU is actually in, right? And this is just for physical products. This is not even for digital products, because we have way more countries that we have the digital products in. But it's this is just specifically shows the physical products like the energy drinks, the coffee, collagen, that kind of thing. Then on this slide, you want to basically touch on mainly Kyle Copeland, and because he is the CEO, and what you want to say about him is he is somebody who took a previous company that he was a part of, right, from $125,000 a month to $1 billion a year company, right? Somebody who took a company that was already pretty successful to one of the top dogs in that industry, right? He's somebody who is leading with a vision for global impact. Brad Boyle is his cousin, who's the founder of the company. And then this is the rest of the team that's making sure everything is running smoothly on all sides of the company, right? You don't want to spend too much time here, but also hit on the main points. And the vice presidents of product development and education, Nate Gomez and Daniel Lopez, you want to talk about how they are the people that have created the website, right? They are the people who, when there's new educators that are wanting to educate on the JIFU platform, they are the ones that audit everybody and make sure that the people who are wanting to educate actually have real life results, right? You can talk about their years of experience in all these different fields, right? Talk about the trade ideas that you've personally taken from these individuals, right? I'm sure everybody here has made some money from their trade ideas, from their call outs, right? You can talk about their Instagram pages and how Nick Gomez has an Instagram page for all of his cars and that kind of thing. You can see the lifestyle that they live and that they got into Bitcoin when Bitcoin was like less than $100, right? You can touch about all of these different things and talk about who these people are and what their role is in the company, right? From there, JIFU is built on 3 pillars: wealth, health, and travel. First one is wealth. This is where you're going to be learning and earning through online education led by industry experts, right? First one here is Forex. Then you want to touch about a little bit about what Forex is, right? talk a little bit about crypto, stocks, e-commerce, credit. You want to touch a little bit on every single academy, right? You don't just want to touch on Forex and crypto and then just scroll down to the next one, right? You want to touch on every single academy because you don't know who you're talking to, right? If you're doing an op call, there might be other people's prospects on there, right, on Monday nights. But if you're talking to somebody in person, you already know what they want out of this business because you formed them, like we talked about in the beginning. And then you know how to tailor the business to them, right? You can show them that specific academy, right? But make sure you touch on every single academy, talk about, Forex trading, like what is Forex trading, when the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, give an explanation, right? Talk about crypto, stocks, e-commerce, talk about everything. And then this slide, right, is master the global currency market. This is talking about Forex trading and copy trading, trading education, scanner, and tools. It's telling you about what it is that we have inside of the Forex Academy, right? You can get real-time trade ideas from professionals for instant implementation and immediate results. That means you can literally copy and paste a few buttons on your phone into a trading app and make money with millionaires. This is what you want to tell the people that you're presenting the information to, right? Is you can literally copy and paste, do the exact same thing that millionaires are doing, right? Nick Gomez, he's made millions of dollars trading. You're copy and pasting with him, right? Daniel Lopez, he's made millions of dollars trading. You copy and pasting with him, and all the other educators, you're copy and pasting with people who have made a minimum of 6 figures inside of this space and are doing it in a consistent basis. The trading education, you can talk about the access that you get to tutorial videos and live expert training sessions where you can learn from a basic education to an advanced education of what Forex is, of what all these different academies are, right? It's a basic breakdown. If you have no idea what Forex is, you can go right to the very first video in the basics section and it will show you what is Forex, what is a currency, how does Forex work, what is a pip. It'll break everything down for you step by step. And then scanner and tools, right? These are AI tools that we can use that scan the market for you. So even if you have no idea how a chart works, right, or what all the different candles mean and things like that, you can learn and understand a scanner and be able to make money because it does the hard work for you. You just have to learn and understand how the scanner works, right? That's how I would talk about this slide. Then unlock the future of digital finance is where you're talking about crypto more in depth, right? You learn to buy, sell, and manage digital assets strategically, right? Wallet and security, master safe storage and protection of digital assets, basically like a ledger or somewhere where you can store your cryptocurrency in a safer place, right? DeFi and NFTs. This is a different kind of marketplace that you can get inside of crypto where you're not just buying Bitcoin or Ethereum. Now you're buying into projects that are backed by these companies, right? Then blockchain basics, learn and understand the basics of crypto, and a market analysis, develop skills in analyzing trends, charts, and indicators. Then simplified education, right? Here you can talk about how, like we said before, you can get a beginner's education. So if you have no idea what these different academies are and you just want to learn about Forex, you want to learn about social media, you want to learn about AI, we have simplified education that breaks it down step by step for you so you can learn and understand all of the terminology that is being explained by these educators and in these specific markets, right? You understand the basics by going through the basic education, and then you work your way up to the top. All right, then JIFU Connect. Here you can talk about the app. If you're doing an event or a one-on-one with somebody, you can actually just go in and open the JIFU Connect app and show them exactly what JIFU Connect is, right? I have to update it right now, but you can just go in and show them your phone, show them how it works, what you get access on there, right? But if you're doing a Zoom like this, you can start educating on this platform, right? The 6, 7, 8, and 9 figure earners. It's like Instagram, but for millionaires who are telling you how to make money from your cell phone, right? You can stay connected with these people. You can ask them questions. You can see when their live streams are. You can get trade ideas in this app, right? All these different things is what you want to touch about. And if you're, like I said, if you're in person with somebody and you can show them your phone, show them the JIFU Connect app, show it to them, it makes it much, much easier for them to get at that visual. And then here is like expand your network, connect with fellow members, right? This is like all the different things to talk about. On JIFU Connect, right? So basically what I was talking about here on this slide, you can basically talk about the same stuff here in this slide, right? Like real-time updates, promotions, events, trade ideas, training material, tools, services. You can stay connected with everybody, right? That's what JIFU Connect is. It's Instagram, but for millionaires, teaching you how to make money. Then the AIs, the tools, algorithms which help you find a potential trade idea. We already touched about that on the Forex slide, right? But what you can talk about here is that there's different tool or different AIs that you can use for different markets, not just in Forex. You can also use them in crypto and in stocks, right? It's not one scanner or all of the scanners are just for Forex. You can use the scanners for their specific purpose and for their specific currencies that you can trade with them. Right? It's an AI tool that you can copy and paste and make money from. And when it comes to JIFU Health, right, you want to touch on the few major products that we have, right? Like the collagen, it's an 8 super ingredients, helps support hair, skin, nails, and joints, right? Glow is cell restoration serum. It's like a eye repair treatment, like a facial cream, that kind of thing, right? You can share stories as well. If you've had these specific products, you can talk about your story and using the products, right? What has it done for you? Have you seen a difference from using a store-bought product rather than using a JIFU product, right? These are different things that you can relate to people with, right? And if you have the energy drinks or the coffee or a live or some collagen, you can offer it to people, right? So they can try it, they can taste it. It's, you know, if you're in person, you can do that. If you're on a Zoom call, obviously not, but that's why you have to adapt to where you are presenting the information, right? Then Live, it's a superfood antioxidant blend with 8 superfood ingredients. I like to say that it's like a go-go squeeze, but a lot healthier for you. You know those little go-go squeezes that was like apple or whatever the flavors was? It's like that, but a lot healthier for you, right? Wave, it's an energy drink, natural clean energy, supports energy metabolism, reduces tiredness and fatigue. And then coffee is a collagen and antioxidant infused coffee blend, supports hair, skin, nails, and joints. You can talk about all the other things that are on here. And another thing that I touch on here as well is that we actually have Gary Brecka, who is helping us make these products better, right? He's a friend of Alex Morton's, who's making sure that, you know, if you don't know who that is, search him up. I say that as well, and do your own research. But he's an individual who is basically a human biologist. He's helped President Trump, Dana White, Joe Rogan, all these different very, very well-known people in the world live a better and healthier lifestyle. And he's helping us make sure these products are better, right? And as healthy as we say they are. And then STEM, this reactivates dormant adult stem cells, right, for tissue repair and regeneration. I talk about like when you get a cut or you break a bone or you have like an infection or something, right? Your adult stem cells that we all have in our body, they're the first ones to attack those targets, right? When you have a cut, they're the ones that send more blood there so that your blood gets thicker and creates a scab, right? And closes that wound, right? As we get older, right? These adult stem cells, they become dormant, and these stem pills that we have, they reactivate the dormant adult stem cells, right? It boosts cognitive function, bone health, and immune response. And easy daily use, one capsule a day fits seamlessly into your lifestyle, right? That's what I would say about this one. Then we go to travel, talk about that you get up to 75% off. Make sure you clarify that it's up to and not always 75% off guaranteed, because it's not always 75%, right? We can get up to 75% off on hotels, resorts, cruises, car rentals, flights, vacation packages, activities, excursions, team trips, that kind of thing. And talk about how JIFU used to be a travel company first before they added all of the digital academies like Forex and crypto, right? JIFU was a travel company for a long time before they added all of the digital ways to make money into the company, right? So that's why we get access to the best of the best discounts inside of our company, right? Then talk about the travel app, how it's just like an app that you can use like Expedia or bookings.com. It's the same thing. Once you have access to it, you can sign in, see all the discounts and everything you get straight from your phone. And then JIFU Travel, this is where you can earn travel points whenever you book your travel, right? And use those travel points towards your next travel booking as well. You can give your friends and family free trials and also get paid. This is where I talk about, if you know that somebody's going on a trip to Mexico, send them your link and they can, potentially save 20-30% on their travel that they were going to go on anyways. And then from that 20-30% that they saved, let's say it was $1,000, you actually get 50% as a commission paid directly to you, right? So that's something that I would touch on as well. And then talk about the vacation vouchers that you get as soon as you get started with JIFU. This is a free trip for you plus 3 other people, so 4 people in total, for up to 7 nights at a resort or place of your choice from over 3,000 different locations, right? You can tell corporate where you want to go, and you can go there for free. It's a $280 resort fee and cleaning fee that you have to cover, but your nightly stay for you plus 3 other people is completely free, right? And that you get once every 12 months that you're a customer inside of the company. Then there's rewards and incentive trips, right? This is like, for example, there was a trip in Dubai. There was a trip in Greece that they just went on as well, right? Where you can actually get rewards and get a free trip to these different places depending on what the requirements are to get there on that trip, right? You get to meet people like the CEO, the people who run the company, Daniel and Nick Gomez, right? The educators that you're learning from on a daily basis. You can go and meet these people in real time at these different incentive trips, right? Exclusive networking and growth, unforgettable destinations, VIP treatment, and rewards. Then this is the vacation voucher that we talked about earlier. And then it's welcome to JIFU, right? Unlock your potential. I like to say there's 3 questions that I want to ask you right now. Is if not you, then who? Right? We just went through all of what Revolt and JIFU is, right? If it's not going to be you who's going to take action and get started, learn a high paying skill set, then who is it going to be? Are you going to let your brother do it? Are you going to let your sister do it? Your mom, your dad, your grandma? Right? Or are you going to take action and do it? Right? And if not now, then when? If it's not going to be now that you're going to take action and then get started in it, or are you going to get started today? I've had people, some of my closest friends, who watched me get started, who watched me from the very beginning get started now, 3 years later, right? After 3 years of me being in the company and seeing the success that I've been able to see, now they join and they tell me, bro, I wish I started sooner. Every single one of them says that. I wish I started sooner. So you have to make it clear to people is like, how long are you going to wait on your success? How long are you going to wait to get your parents out of financial debt? How long are you going to wait to build your dream life? Right? What is it that you want and how long are you going to wait to do so? Right? And then if not this, then what? If it's not going to be this, right, that you're going to take action on joining JIFU, joining Revolt, then what is it going to be that's going to get you to $10,000 a month or more? Right? Because trading Forex and trading crypto, that's an unpaid, or you can get paid an unlimited amount, not an unpaid amount, an unlimited amount of money once you perfect and master the skill. Right? I saw Walker this week, not even this week, it was 2 days. He deposited $80 into his account and he made $5,000 in 2 days from $80. Where else are you going to learn a skill set or a job that you're going to be able to make $5,000 in 2 days from an $80 investment into yourself or into your trading account? Where are you going to see that kind of result? Because if there's another way that's not this, then tell me about it. I want to know about it. Right? Like you can talk about stories and talk about things like that, right? When you see fit. But you want to make sure that people understand, if not you, then who, if not now, when, if not this, then what. And then you can ask people or ask them like, after showing you everything that we just talked about, how much do you think that your initial investment in yourself is going to be? Because let's be honest, right? It pays to be, or not everything's free in today's life, right? I just forgot the saying. That's having a brain fog. But it, you need to make an investment in yourself in order to see a return. Because if I just hand you everything for free, right, you're not going to be serious and take action on it. But if you have a financial backing behind something, right, you paid to get something or get access to something, you're going to take it a lot more serious, right? And then people will say 500 to 1,000, whatever, and you can tell them you can actually get started for as little as $299 for your initial investment. Right, this is where you get access to everything that we just covered in the health, wealth, and travel. And then there's different packages that give you access to more and more things inside of the company. Right, but you can get started for as little as $299 one time, and then you can continue to get education and access to JIFU and Revolt for $185 USD a month. Right, your initial investment is $299, and then to continue to get access to it is $185 USD every single month. And then from here, this is where you can say, like, put in the chat a free, right? Let me see some frees in the chat, and then people are going to drop free. And then this is where you talk about that you can actually get your subscription absolutely free, and make sure that you make it clear that this is completely optional, right? You don't have to build the business. You don't have to get a free scholarship and tell people about it. This is optional that you can decide to do. If you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, right? But how it works is if you refer 4 people into the company, right, whether that's your friends, your family members, somebody who you met that's already inside crypto or already trades that wants to learn more, right, you can get a free membership and you don't have to worry about paying that 185 USD monthly, right? And then you can talk about becoming a JIFU affiliate. This is for my bigger thinkers, right? For people who think beyond just 4 people and want to build a team and earn a residual income, right? Residual income is an income that you get paid for work that you did in the past, right? Talk about how this is also completely optional. You do not have to do this, but if you want to make a residual income, if you want to build a team and help people learn the skill set, right, you can do so, and you can also get paid. And then you want to talk about a story, maybe if it's some kind of other networking or affiliate thing that people do, right? Like, let's say if you watch a good movie, right? What are you going to do? You're going to tell people that the movie that you just watched in the theater was really good, right? Or it sucked, right? But most of the time it was pretty good, right? And then when you talk to that person, you talk to that friend or family member that the movie was really good, what do? They get excited about it. Now they want to go see it, right? And then you told them where you went to go see it. They went to that same theater. They bought their tickets. They bought popcorn. They sat down, watched the movie, and then they went home, right? What did I just break down there? Is you just referred your friend or family member to a movie, right? But who made all the money, right? The movie theater made all the money. You didn't get any kind of compensation, right, for referring your friend or family member to go to that movie theater to watch the movie, right? We're referring people to things all the time without even knowing it or without getting paid. So why not refer people to JIFU and Revolt? Because you're going to start making money, right? You're going to start seeing that it actually works. And then you're going to get excited about it, and you're going to share this thing anyways, right? So why not do it in a way where you can make money and earn a residual income? You can talk about how the company doesn't pay millions of dollars in ads to advertise the company. It would rather just pay people a commission to build teams and refer people in the company, right? That's why we can get paid residual income. And then here is the compensation plan. This we can talk about the different ranks inside of the company, right? We're building a team of 14 individual, which is silver, the first rank in the company. You can make $700 every single month by building a team of 14 individuals, right? People might think $700 is not a lot. For my Canadians, that's about $1,100 that you're getting paid extra every single month, right? And if I were to go to your next paycheck and take $1,100 out of it, would you notice? Right? You would definitely notice if I took $1,100 from your paycheck, because most people, right, they only make about $1,200, $1,300 every single paycheck, right, for a regular 9 to 5 job that's minimum wage. So you would definitely notice, because 95% of your paycheck would be gone, right? So this is a way for you to make an extra income, right? An extra $1,000 a month, or $700 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, all the way up to $500,000 a month, right? Again, it's an uncapped income. I mean, it's capped at 500,000, but with bonuses and other commissions, it's actually more than 500,000, right? But 500,000 paid to you every single month, right? You have to make that clear to people that you can actually get paid weekly from this as well, right? If you're making $1,000 a month, that's $250 USD every single week. That's paid to you every Friday, right? And then show people the vision behind it, right? Talk about how you don't have to refer every single person to get to $10,000 a month. You don't have to enroll 500 people yourself, right? And once you start building your team and you have a team of 14, you are silver, or you are a gold, people in your team are going to start talking about it too. And you're going to help them build their business. And all of that is going to count towards your rank as well, right? So talk about how the compensation plan works, and that you can work your way up to $500,000 every single month, right? And then with that being said, that's everything for today. Get back to the person that reached out to you and got you on the other questions before getting started. Get those questions answered, right now is the time, because you understand and you just heard all of the information. Make sure you get your questions answered now, right? But That's exactly how I would break down the slideshow, right? Every single slide, that's how I would break it down, right from the beginning all the way to the end. And if you have stories that you want to talk about for each slide that's different than what I talked about, right? You have your own experience. Talk about those experiences, right? Talk about how you made $1,000 in trading, right? You copy and pasted from Nate Gomez and you made $100 yesterday, right? Whatever the case is, talk about your experiences when you're presenting the information as well, right? Figure out your story, craft your story the way that we talked about, and then share your story with as many people as possible and learn and understand how to present the information so that after you shared your story, if they ask you, can I see more information, you can go and show them more information about what Revolt and JIFU is. Right. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys all got some value. I know we're a little bit after the hour, but I hope you guys got some value on tonight's call. Drop in the family chat you guys' biggest takeaways. I would love to see those as well. But I will see you guys all on Sunday for our family call. And then I'll be back here on Tuesday for trading basics as well. But with that being said, I hope you guys all have a good rest of your night. And we'll see you guys all next week. Peace.